Okay. Where did we leave off? Yibaylahu on Tesvav Amid Beis, right? On 15b. We think Hashem able to enter every day. So we're learning. We should have the Beis Hamikdash immediately. It's a special day. It's Hanukkah. Yeah. So also learning for Nishmas Avigdal Basbar Binyamin and Sanhedrin Ben Mitzin, and also for Shleima for Avin David Ben Sarah. So it's better from father Ben Meidel and Chaim Ben Sarah. Okay, so the Gemara starts off like this: Yibaylo Shar Sinai Bekama. The animals weren't allowed to go on Har Sinai, and if they did, then they would get stoned. So we were talking before about a Shara Niskal, an ox that gets stoned because it killed. We said just like the owner gets capital punishment with 23 judges. So to the ox gets killed with 23 judges. Well, if now we're going to stone an ox, maybe that should be the same halacha, that it should be maybe just like the people would get stoned if they would go to on the mountain. Not the mountain, Har Sinai, they weren't allowed. There was like a limit of how close they could go by the giving of the Torah. Do we say that a one-time event is similar to the way it is in the future for all generations, or do we say differently? Maybe that was a special halacha that they would be able to, the way we view it, the way we think about it, the way we. That mentioned.
Bris Milah. It was the one time they just asked the guy to do a Bris Milah when they went to Tyrus. I mean, okay, there was other times mentioned. There's so many events in place.
So 1 second. Let's take this up. A few steps to that question. But the first thing is, before that, we imagine that it says, "Don't come close to the mountain." We imagine that if you come close to the mountain, you get zapped, right? Okay. It's not. It says they had to have a bezdin that would kill anyone that came close. It wasn't that they get zapped. But right? I mean, there could be differences in this, but that's basically what we're saying here, that you would need a bezdin to kill the ox. What type of bezdin? We're asking if it should be 23 judges to kill the ox that came too close. Now, I know, but if you look in the Psukim, it says like that you have to stone them. Suckle, you suckle, right? And it says something. Yeah, this was the warning. They gave the pasuk gave a warning. Don't come close. Anyway, Taisvus asks. It says, Taisvus asks in Taisvus Shar. If you work your way down, it says Vim Taimar. My kami boile mishar Sinai the my nafkamina mehai my the hava. Who cares? It's all over. Why? We don't have to ask, like, but it's an old story. It's not. It's an old newspaper. It's not. It doesn't have significance for the halacha today. Whatever happened, happened. So anyway, Tosfos says, well, we would like to learn the psukim properly, to see what the psukim meant. Anyway, Tashima, come and listen to Tani Rami Bar Yecheskel in Behema Mishla Yicha. Whether an animal or a man shall not live. We have a comparison, just like we had the comparison by the Shara and Niskal, that you kill the ox, same amount of judges that you would kill the owner if he would, right? If it would be murder. So too, over here we have another comparison. Kill the ox like you would kill a man, which always capital punishment is always 23 judges. Okay. Hariba Zev, we talk about these wild animals. It said if they kill, it says we judge them with 23 judges, also just like the ox, right? And then Rabbi Eliezer, that's Rabbi Eliezer ben Hurkinis, he says no, whoever kills them is Zacha. And Rabbi Akiva says 23 judges, because we have a Tanakama, Rabbi Eliezer, and Rabbi Akiva. Well, Gemara starts off like this. I'm Rish Lakish. when you mention these dangerous animals, the lion and the wolf, they're only killed
If they kill someone.
if they kill someone. It's not just you just walk around shooting lions. It's if they killed, then they get killed. But if they didn't kill anyone live, then we don't kill them. Alma kasavar yeshlam tarbis veshlam bailam. It must mean that this Rish Lakish holds that they're able to be trained and they're able to have owners. We don't kill them just plain. Rabbi Yochanan says, Rabbi Yochanan says, even though they didn't kill, just Alma Kasavar must mean that he holds Elam Tarbas, Elam Bailam, that they can't be trained, they can't be domesticated, they can't have owners. Well, let's take a look at this. It's Machlekes Rabbi Yochanan Rish Lakish. Rabbi Eliezer Rabbi Eliezer says that whoever comes first to kill them merits. So, according to Rabbi Yochanan, we can understand the Zacha. Why? What does it mean he merits? He merits Zacha and he merits to get their skin because he killed them. Right? That's what do they do with these wild animals? They take their skin, the tusks. Okay, so we're talking about an animal that hasn't killed yet. So it hasn't killed. You're allowed to make use of the skin. So that makes sense. But it means Zacha. But according to Rish Lakish, that the animal had to kill already. So what does Rabbi Lezer mean that you Zaycha? Given Shemisu Shavina Lamai Zacha. Given Shemisu Shavina Rabbanan command the Gomer Dinah Visur Hananinu. It should be considered forbidden to have benefits from. Because an animal that kills, like a Shara Niskal, even if it's shechted, you can't have any benefit from it. Right? Says my zacha, what would zacha mean? Zacha l'shamayim means that you merit for heaven. Doesn't mean that you actually gain skin or something. It means you did a good deed. You did a good deed. You saved everyone from harm.
So is that giving permission to go and hunt?
I don't think hunted. I think it's in the public domain.
I don't know if I need this Gemara to tell me that I'm allowed to hunt. I think the Rama writes that we don't hunt for sport. We only hunt for need. Sorry. You gotta stop. My students like to go fishing. They tell them that they can't fish just for sport.
Oh, wow.
Only if they're gonna. They say, "Oh no, we're gonna eat it." Do you have the knife? Yeah, I think so. We have something. We'll figure it out.
Stop. Maybe you're referring to an animal that it's usually harmful for something for the community.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
That's that anger or something like that. Which would exist and what the mitzvah to get rid of.
That's Rabbi Eliezer's view. According to Rabbi Yochanan, no, that's Rabbi Eliezer view. It's mitzvah to get rid of it. The question is when. Are we talking about that it killed already and then you have to get rid of it or not? Or is it just any animal? You see a snake out there, okay, let's shoot it.
My question is, for example, for the hogs, they would have to be empty.
No, by actually it only has to kill once, right?
No.
Once it kills once.
In order for it to be considered. So I was wondering if one snake kills someone, are you gonna wait
No. The Mishnah in Baba Kama said that Nachash is muad leilam, so he's muad. These are, yeah.
That constitutes somebody, if it's a nuisance, or whether it's just really going to kill someone. If it's like a mouse, it's killing a mouse.
We don't have, we had a Gemara in Ksubas, I think, about Rebbe. Was that in Ksubas? Where was the Gemara? No, it was in Bab Metzia.
Yeah.
Gemara Bab Metzia about Rebbe not wanting to chase remember he had a toothache? for 13 years, and then he left the mice. Okay. And then the toothache went away. Yeah, he told the maid not to chase them out. Well, or not to kill them, maybe. Now the Gemara says, Tani Kavasei Reish Lakish will bring a support for Reish Lakish that you only kill these animals if they killed a person. The Brisa says like this: any animal that killed, or whether it's an ox or whether it's any wild animal. Chaf Gimel. Rabbi Eliezer says, "Sure, shahimis vesmer shleisha sharbehim v'chayashem yisrael." If it's an ox, he says he takes 23 judges. Any other animal, kol hakedim l'hargun zacha b'hem l'shamayim. Then any person can kill them. You don't have to. It's as if the court has already decided. They don't have to do the whole hearing, right? It's a judgment.
Do you think the ox is representative of all animals that can be domesticated?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think in some places it says the word shar, and it says dibra kasav el b'haiva. That the pasuk is referring to something that's common, but it would apply to other animals as well that are. Okay. Rabbi Akiva says that you need 23 judges. Gemara asks Rabbi Akiva and Tanakama. Rabbi Akiva is the same as the Tanakama. They also said 23 judges. They argued with Rabbi Eliezer. So it could be Nayo Nachash. According to Rabbi Akiva, the Nachash, anyone is allowed to kill it.
Oh, wow.
The Tanakama didn't say that. According to Tanakama, you still need the 23 judges for the Nachash as well, for the snake. Okay, now it says they have a whole list in the Mishnah of things that require 71 judges. So we moved from 3 to 23 to 71. The Mishnah says that you don't judge the shevet. We have to figure out what that means. A false prophet, a kohen gadol, only by a court of 71 judges. So it says shevet, which is a tribe. Let's take a look. Ein dan and chulum. Hi shevet. When he said this tribe, what sin did they do that we need 71 judges to judge them? If we say that they're Machal Shabbos, they all drove on Shabbos or something. Then I know that there's a difference between if a small group of people did something or if a large group of people did something. That's by idolatry. Is there a difference if a lot of people were Machal Shabbos, now all of a sudden everything changes? Each one is an individual that was Machal Shabbos. Right?
There was something where there were enough people who were
right. Yeah, then that's not a judgment on the people. That's the way we'll offer the sacrifice if everyone's tummy. Interesting. Here we're saying that if everyone speeds, right? Are they going to all get a different sort of ticket? They get the same ticket, huh?
They say, I caught you. Everyone's asleep. I caught you.
No, let's say they pull over the whole highway. They'll do this with the what's it called? The camera with the camera. No.
Yeah.
Okay. But there is another rule with speeding that you're allowed to go the speed of the traffic, right? Is that correct?
No.
No. If everyone's going fast,
That's a rumor.
That didn't work.
We'll have to try it.
That didn't work out.
Okay.
That's what I do.
Okay, so where did we get this distinction between a small amount of people to a lot of people? Ela b'shevet shehuda. It must be that they did avodah zarah. L'meimra, is this to say the bedina derabim dainin alei that you're going to need 71 judges if it's an entire shevet? Come on, who does this go like? Like Rabbi Yeshua, like Rabbi Yonasan. It doesn't fit with the rules that were laid down by Rabbi Yeshua or like Rabbi Yonasan. These are two Tanaim that argue about how an Ir Nidachas works. The Tanya was taught in a Brisa. Ad kama isim Ir Nidachas. How many people are in the city that becomes an Ir Nidachas? What type of city are we talking about? So the first opinion says Miyud Vad Kuf to Rabbi Yeshua. From 10 people, to 100 people. We're talking about not a real like city, like we would say a city. It sounds like a village. As an nidachas, from 10 to 100 people is considered a city. Rabbi Yonasan says no, from 100 until the majority of a tribe. Then it's already not a city anymore. Then it's too big.
That's like less than close. That's like 1,000.
So, and then the Gemara concludes. It's the Gemara adds to this bright. It's like comment on the Bryce. If it's an entire tribe, then they don't get judged like the Yarni Dachas. So they go back to being judged as individuals. Yarni Dachas has a special halacha that everyone gets killed by the sword. If it's an individual, they get stoning. And it's also well, it's only a 23 Sanhedrin. Yarni Dachas, it's a 71 Sanhedrin. So we're asking that an entire shevet does avodah zarah. It does not go under the category, according to either opinion, of an Yarni Dachas, and we're saying that you need 71 judges. Really, it should go back to the Skila judgment, which is a 23 judge. Amar Rav Masna, maybe Rav Matana. He says, Hacha ben Nasi shevet shechat askina. We said a tribe sinned. We didn't mean the tribe. We meant the prince of the tribe. I don't know if they do this. The president calls up. He said, "This is United States of America calling." So when it says the tribe, it doesn't mean the entire tribe. It means the prince of the tribe, the leader of the tribe. That's why you call them the tribe. And Milayama Ravada Barava said, "Kol davar hagadol yavin elecha." When it says in the pasuk by Yisra, he's telling Moshe, anything that's big will come to you. Ravada Barava explained it. Devarav shel gadol. It's anything big doesn't mean a big case. It means a case. Yeah, there is actually wood is talking about like the karbanis. Now we're talking about something that would be capital punishment. It would go from 23 now to 71. It doesn't have to be avodah zarah specifically. It's talking about anything that would have been capital punishment for the nasi would take it up to the next level. Hainami gadolhu. Do we have that at all? That anyone important? Their cases. If a president does something wrong, does it go automatically to federal or something, or does it go automatically to or is it just the state? It's exactly like a regular person.
Well, for constitutional matters, it could go to Supreme Court.
But that's because it's constitutional matters. It's not because
Right.
he's
No man's above the law.
Okay. So that's a pshat that we seem to accept so far. That when it says nasi, that goes to the 71 judges talking about. It's talking about shevet. It's talking about the nasi. Ula Amar Rabbi Lazar. Ula says the name of Rabbi Lazar. Remember, Ula is a traveler. He's bringing from Rabbi Lazar ben Pedas, the student of Rabbi Yechanan. It says Beboyan al iskei nachles ukit chilasa shel Eretz Yisrael. We're talking about that the shevet is discussing where the borders of the tribe end. And just like the way it was done originally when Yeshua came into the land, just like when it was, they divided up the land, they needed the judges of 71, the Sanhedrin. So too, if an argument breaks out about this, we'll have to take it to the Supreme Court, right? The Gemara asks the question, 1 second. You're comparing it. Oh, you have Gairel? I have Kalpi.
No, I'm talking to myself. I'm just saying
okay.
It wasn't divided by them. It was divided by Goral.
So there was more than just the Sanhedrin there.
Yeah.
Saying also the Gairel. There was also the Urim V'Tumim, and there was the Sanhedrin. So that's what you want to do. You're going to bring all of this in. You're going to do the lottery again, and you're going to do this.
Imagine guys on the capital. You can judge me. I want to have the lottery.
Yeah, so we switched that capital punishment. Now we're dealing with Nachala because we're dealing with the Shevet's Nachala. Ela machvarta keder Rav Masna. Rather, a more clear pshat. Chiver means white. A more clear pshat goes like would be Rav Masn's pshat that we're dealing with a leader of a tribe. Ravina says, "Leilam b'shevet shudach." We're talking about a tribe that worshipped idols. So the kakashalach within the derabim danin leyin. We asked the question, why are they judged as a community? They should be judged. It's so large, we have to do it as individuals. It says, you have a point. Afagav the katlinan biyachid, even though they're killed with skila, but beidina derabim dainin leyin. You see, we confused two things. We said that if it's not yerni dachas, then they don't get chenek, not chenek, they don't get sayif, they get skila. But when we said, oh, if it's skila, then it's probably also a Sanhedrin of 23 judges, that was an assumption. It's skila, but the Sanhedrin is going to be the Sanhedrin Gedela, the 71 judges. Milayamar Reb Chama Bar Yosi Amar Rabbi did not Reb Chama Bar Yosi say in the name of Rabbi Yosi, Baitzes Isha Hu Esa Isha Hahi. If there's a man or woman that sinned, they go to the gate. Now the gate means the city has them, which is 23 judges. But if it's an entire city, you don't take them to the gate. Then you would have to use the big Sanhedrin. You don't take them to the city court, which is 23 judges. You take them to the big Sanhedrin of 71 judges. Okay.
Well, we have a case, right, where the city of Shechem gets judged by Shimon, and they just kill everybody in the city because they didn't have proper laws. They didn't enforce laws against rape and things like that. Wouldn't that be something where the entire city would be judged? Like the Rambam says that they were correct, right? That was the correct judgment.
Maybe by B'nai Noach, it's different. We have to wait later on in the nuns over here. We're going to have the B'nai Noach. You have to wait a little over a month.
So what exactly happens to the city? Like how is it enforced exactly?
They would have to go to if it's an entire tribe or a city, they would have to go to 71 judges. Okay. Loyas Navi Asheker, and not the false prophet. Which means the false prophet doesn't get judged by a 23; they get judged by a 71 person court, Sanhedrin. Rabbi Yosi Bar Chanina says, Asya Hazada Mizakin Mamre. This is interesting. The Zakin Mamre is this elder that rebels against the Sanhedrin. He refuses to accept the Sanhedrin's ruling, and he gets killed. Well, it says by him, it says the word Hazada. It says Asher Yaseh Bezadin. Let's say okay. Now, and then by the Navi Sheker, it says Achanavi Asher Yazid, the prophet that will sin intentionally. Okay, now what the Gemara is doing is that we're comparing who did the Zaken rebel against? Who's he in conflict with? This the big Sanhedrin, not with the small Sanhedrin. He's in conflict with the big Sanhedrin. Now we're leaving out a detail. The detail is he's in conflict with the big Sanhedrin, but who kills him? Doesn't have to be the big Sanhedrin. It could be a 23 judge. So, but we're ignoring that for a moment. We're saying, 71 judges. He's in conflict with 71. So to the Navi, it's going to be killed by the 71 judges. The Gemara says, 1 second. Okay, starts off. Just like the Zakin Mamre rebels against the 71 judges. Also, the Navi Sheker is going to be judged by the 71 judges. It says, V'hazada kiksiva b'kala. It says the word Hazada by his death penalty. Hudiksiva. Biktala hudiksiva. Uktala besser mitlasnu. But by the death, it's only 23 judges. It's not symmetrical the way you're matching this up, right? If you want to match the death of the Navi Sheker to the death of, because it says Hazada here, it says Hazada here. So then this was the death is 23 judges. It says Ella Amrish Lakish Gamar Davar Davar Mihamrase. We're going to learn something else. We're going to learn Davar Davar by when he rebels. It says, what does it say? But Asisa al Piha Davar, which is referring to his judgment, which is referring to the way he judges. And then by the prophet, it says also Davar. But by Hamrasa means his rebellion. We're learning from the rebellion to the prophet's judgment, to the prophet's judgment. And then the Gemara asks, okay, so that's how you're going to do it. We're not doing it from his death penalty to the death penalty. We're doing it from the rebellion to the death penalty, and we're using a Gezerah Shava, the same word. So then the Gemara asks, so then why don't we go backwards now? And why don't we say that it says Hazada by the Navi, it says Hazada by the rebellious elder. So we should now, if the Navi is 71 judges, we should do the rebellious elder with the judgment of 71 judges. Where it says, well, David Gomer, Hazada Le Gomer. His tradition was that there was only one Gezerah Shava here, not two. So he only knows the one Gezerah Shava, which would tell me 71 judges to the.
When you say tradition,
because the Gezerah Shava needs to be done with the tradition of what it is. Listen, a Kal V'Chaimer, any rabbi could come up with a Kal V'Chaimer on their own. But when it comes to Gezerah Shava, you have to have a tradition from your teacher all the way back that there was a Gezerah Shava here. Yeah. You take a look at this Rashi Davar Davar. You see then it says, "Hach Gezerah Shava de Davar Davar Gamalei Haitana Mirabe, Aval Hachta Zada Zada Lei Gamalei Mirabe. Kal V'Chaimer Adam Dan Me'atzmei, but Vein Adam Dan Gezerah Shava Me'atzmei. Elam Ken Kilmei Mirabe Lachem Mishim Yisina." Yeah. Okay.
It's fine. My brother's
Oh.
airport, so.
Okay. Very nice.
Travel, sir.
Yeah, I'm staying here.
So,
I'll be with you, sir. Sure.
V'loi es kayin gadol, right? Not you're judging a kayin gadol. Kayin gadol also needs 71 judges. He doesn't get judged in the 23 judge court. Where do we know this from? We bring the same source that we had with the Nasi. Amar Avada Baravad Amar Kra. The pasuk says, "Kol davar gadol yaviu elach dvar shel gadol." Matters of a big person, of a great person, which is the Kayin Gadol, that comes to Moshe. Now, Moshe is representing the 71 judges. That's the way we're viewing this. Elecha to you is brought to you, referring to the 71 judges. Now, when we brought this before, we didn't ask any questions. Now the Gemara asks, Meisvei, 1 second. The Brisa says Davar Gadol. When the pasuk says Davar Gadol, Davar Kasha, it's referring to a difficult matter. Contrary to what Ravada Barava taught. Kala Davar Gadol Yaviu. I'm sorry, Ata Aimer Davar Kasha. You say that it's a difficult matter. Maybe not. Maybe it's the way Ravada Barava taught it, the Brisa asks. Maybe it's the matters of a big person. No, it has to be a big matter because when it says again, it repeats it. One of them is in the instructions, and one of them is the way it would play out, I think. You want to bring a chumash?
Moshe get in trouble, by the way, for this. Bring great matters to you.
Yeah.
That's problem with father-in-laws, man.
Okay. So Pasuk says in Pasuk Chaf Beis 22, "V'shaftu esam b'chales." This is Yisro telling Moshe, "V'haya kol hadavar hagadol yaviu elecha." All big matters will come to you, and all small matters they'll judge. Okay, then Moshe chose, and then it says they judge the people on a full-time basis. They would bring any difficult case to Moshe. So this is a description of what happened. Kol hadavar kasha yaviu el Moshe. So when it says what happened, it says kasha. When in the instructions it says gadol. So it says, oh, when it says kasha, it's referring to what we said before, gadol. Because it was an instruction, and then the way it played out. Kol davar gadol, this is what any big thing you'll bring to you. And then when it played out, any difficult thing they brought to Moshe is referring back to the gadol. So it says, obviously it's talking about the difficult matter that you spoke about before, which was the big matter. The Gemara says, so we have to answer this question. Ravada Barava, he says he has a different Tana that he's following, a different Brisa. The Tanya, in his Brisa, it says, Davar Gadol, Dvarav Shel Gadol. When it says a big matter, it's referring to a matter of a big person, which means a Kohen Gadol. Maybe not. Maybe it's referring to Davar Kasha. So it says, Kishwaimer, Davar Kasha, Davar Kashamar, Manim Davar Gadol, Dvarav Shel Gadol. Exactly the opposite. Why do I need another pasuk to tell me the same thing? Davar kasha means difficult. Davar gadol means a matter of a big person. The Gemara says, "V'hai tana trei kroi lamali." So why did the first Tana? He has two psukim that say the same thing. It says, "Well, chad l'tzava b'alma v'chad l'asiya." One was the instruction, and one was the way it played out. So it says it twice. V'idach, however, the other opinion says, "Im kein lichtav ay gadol gadol ay kasha kasha, my gadol my kasha." Why didn't it say this? Why didn't it say the same result that it said in the instruction? Any big matter they would bring to Moshe. Why did it say any difficult matter? Why did it switch the expressions? It must be that those are two independent things. Big matters come to Moshe, and also matters about big people come to Moshe. Boy, Rebbe Lazar. Rebbe Lazar has a question. Is Rebbe Lazar ben Pedach.
So does it mean that the fact that it didn't say Gadol when it played out, that it just never happened?
So
if you really cross-referencing it as two different items.
If it's two separate items.
And if it's two separate items, did Yisro B'Klal refer to Kasha? He was only referring to Gadol.
If it's two separate items, then it would be referring to both of them. They're supposed to be brought. Also, why didn't it say Gadol?
Yeah. If it's two separate,
yeah. I don't know.
The whole idea of saying somebody's Gadol sounds like a misnagin thing, or isn't that like Raya that Yisro was a misnagin?
We went to Moshe drew in that he could be a Talmud Chacham, right? A Gadol, Torah. And he ran from that yeshiva.
Could have been a Gadol.
Then I became a Kasha.
Well, or someone who's Gadol, is it limited to the specific examples, like the Kohen Gadol and the Navi Sheker and maybe the Melech?
Right. So that would be the double Gadol, referring to them. Yeah.
So it's very few.
Right.
Do we have an actual example of what came to Moshe other than the Maisa of the Benot Solafchad?
And the person that cursed God and the
Makoshesh.
And the what's it called? And the Pesach Sheni. There were some shilas that came up that we know about.
Famous case.
Yeah.
Famous.
Okay. How many judges do you need if the Kohen Gadol's ox kills? It says, where it tells us that the way that the owner would be killed, that's how the way the ox is killed. Now, do we say the owner means a regular person, or do we say the owner means this specific owner? This specific owner would be 71, or do we mean just anyone, any owner would be 23? Amar Abaya says, the fact that you're only asking about the ox means that a monetary case that he would have, then it's obvious that it would be a regular case. It says Pshita, of course it's a regular case. Why do I need even Abaya to say that? It says I could have thought that maybe any matter of the great person ends up in a big court. Kamash Malan, no. Kamash Malan, it's coming to teach us that no, only the capital punishment of the great person ends up in the Sanhedrin. But monetary case of the big person don't. And it's only a shaila about his ox. That's interesting. Okay. Now we're talking about going to battle. So you want to go to battle?
Whoa,
oh, very nice.
That's so awesome. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Big fan. Big fan. Just talking about Baltimore today.
Very nice.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I've seen you on the camera before.
Oh, okay.
Pass it here.
Yeah, sit there.
Jonathan's brother, sir. Aaron is his name.
Sure you guys.
Jonathan Falk's brother. Aaron is here. He drove down from Baltimore.
Yes. Long driving tonight back. So.
Oh, that's man drive.
Okay, so now we're on page Tezayin, towards the bottom. It goes like this. We're talking about going to battle. And it says if you're Jewish people want to go to battle, and a voluntary battle, it's not the original battles that when they're conquering Israel. So it says that you need 71 judges to decide on this. You know this. Amar Rabavo says, the pasuk says, the Gemara doesn't quote the entire pasuk. It says that they'll stand in front of Elazar HaKayan and they'll ask the Urim B'Tumim in front of Hashem, and according to him you'll go out, and according to him you'll come, according to the mouth of the Urim B'Tumim. Who? Him and all of Bnei Yisrael with him, B'chola Eda, in the entire congregation. So there's some expressions at the end. So when it says who, him, Zemelach, that's talking about that you have to ask the king if you're going to go to battle. B'chol Bnei Yisrael Itai, all of the congregation with him, Zemashuach Melchama. That's referring to that you have the Kayan Gadol that was, there was two Kayan, one that was worked in the base of English, and one that was a Kayan that led the battle gave the inspirational talk before the battle. The Cholaida, like a general.
In old generations, it was two.
Officially. The Cholaida and then I don't know historically, but officially. Cholaida and the entire congregation says Sanhedrin.
Surely not by Shane.
Right. I don't think they kept those. Anyone that's afraid of sin, and anyone that planted a vineyard.
Why could that have been the same person?
I'm not sure. Could be. Could be. Cholaida is Sanhedrin. So we see that you have the Sanhedrin. The Gemara says, how do you know that what it means is that you need a Sanhedrin of 71 judges to tell you that you can go to battle? Maybe you need a Sanhedrin to use the Urim B'Tumim. You don't need the Sanhedrin's permission to go to battle. Sanhedrin could agree or disagree, but in order to ask the Urim B'Tumim, you need the Sanhedrin, because you don't ask the Urim B'Tumim for an individual. You need the court to ask the Sanhedrin. So, in other words, based on this pasuk, we don't have it. Rather, we're going to learn from another source. And before we bring the source, we bring the story that the source was brought in. It says, there was a harp that was hanging over David HaMelech's bed. When came midnight, the north wind would blow, and it would start to play the harp. What is it called? Those chimes. Right? Miyad David would get up and he would immediately start learning Torah until it was dawn. That's like once the was Amud Shachar, then the sages would enter. They said to him, Master, our king, the Jewish people need money. So go do business. A handful can't feed a lion. And also you can't fill up a pit from the dirt that you dug out of it. When you dig a pit and you put the dirt back in, it ends up not filling up all the way because the way you crumble it up. So it gets lower. So we can't support each other. We need money from the outside. We need imports. He says, so okay, go to battle. You need money, go to battle. So they would ask Achitophel, and the Sanhedrin, and they would ask the Sanhedrin. They would take advice from Achitophel. They would get permission from the Sanhedrin. And then they would ask the Urim V'Tumim if permission is granted from Hashem. Amar Rabbi Yosef says, Mikra. Okay, this is what we were looking for. What's the pasuk that says that you have to ask the Sanhedrin? And now that we've quoted the whole thing, we have that you have to ask Achitophel and you also have to ask Urim V'Tumim. So the pasuk says, Achrei Achitophel ben Ayo ben Yehoyada v'Abyasar b'sar tzva lamelech Yoav. After Achitophel was ben Ayo ben Yehoyada and Abyasar, and the general is Yoav. Okay. Achitophel, what's Achitophel? Zayayetz. He's the advisor. He's the strategy person, right? Is there a word for strategy? Really? Strategist?
Strategist.
Strategist. And also we have another pasuk. It says, and by the advice of Achitophel that he advised. Okay. Ben Yehoyada. What is Ben Yehoyada? Is the Sanhedrin. Represents the Sanhedrin. Abyasar, and it says Abyasar, he was the Kayan Elu Urim V'Tumim. That's the breastplate that would give answers. We even have a pasuk that says Ben Yehoyada ala Kresiv ala Plesi. Ben Yehoyada was before the Kresi. When it says al over here, it means before. He was before the Kresi and Plesi. It means that first they asked the Sanhedrin and then they asked the Urim V'Tumim. Why did the Urim V'Tumim called Kresi Plesi? Kresi Plesi literally means the archers and the something else. It says Kresi shekarsin devrayim. Kresi is because their words are decisive. And Plesi shemaflam masayim, that it's wondrous the way it acts. That means that the way that it would give an answer is by the stones lighting up. By the...
Can it be a silent olive? Hella, Plesi, and Kresi, like Hella.
Right.
It's a silent one.
And afterwards they would go to the general, who's Yoav. Amr Yitzchak Beit Rav Ada Barmilam Rizk Barav Dumi Mikra. Where do we see that David HaMelech woke up early? It says Ura Kvaidi Ura Hanevel V'China Ira Shachar. It says, wake up my glory, wake up the harp and the lyre, with the Y. Ira Shachar, I awaken the dawn.
Woo!
Right?
That's our motto, baby.
Yeah.
Daf Yomi Warriors.
Aaron Margolis told me this. This guy goes to heaven, and he says, "Okay, you are a religious Jew." It's okay. Let's open the Shulchan Aruch. Okay, let's start from the beginning. The first law: you should awaken the dawn. And they said, "Well, I didn't do that." He said, "The first one." Okay. Okay, let's stop over here. That's a good place.
That's a good place to stop.
Woo!
Yeah.
Is that your false slogan? Yeah, that's our logo, baby.
Thank
It's
you.
copyrighted.
Okay.